Alright everybody, we're going to install this Blue Ridge ductless mini split. And I'm installing it and making this video because all the videos out there are kind of incomplete. So let's start. This is the unit. It comes in that box. And then there's a hose, a bunch of accessories. And on the back of that unit was a mounting plate, which is up here. And there are a whole bunch of holes in that mounting plate that don't make any sense whatsoever. But the whole thing is mounted up there with a couple of screws, and I've got a spacer on this side over here. The spacer is behind there so that it doesn't flex against my corrugated steel. So that's the first part. Then the second part is what I'm working on now. The instructions have you starting to work on the actual ends of the refrigerant and the drain and stuff like that. You have to work on it all at the same time. So you have to pull the electrical through because you don't want this thing up on the wall when you're pulling the electrical through. And they supply you with this wire. And here's the thing that is important. Wherever your unit is going, this is the amount of wire you got. So you got to make sure that your outdoor unit is able to connect to this. And in the US, I think this is supposed to be inside a conduit if you're running it inside. So my plan is to run these tubes here. Let me zoom out a little bit. These tubes and that wire, this in conduit, and this all inside, and then kind of go outside the shop and connect to the outer unit. And then the real pain in the butt is you have to feed this wire in through the back, and I'll show you that, and get it up here. And there's no easy way to do that, because if I can zoom in here, let me turn the light on. There's wires and crap all through there. So you got to stick your finger down there or something to fish this wire through. And then this little piece here has screws on it, and this is supposed to secure this wire. This is all not in the instructions. You have to figure this crap out. And then they've got 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, let's go here. Wires 1, 2, and 3, and then this is the ground wire. And these two are yellow, which is strange, but red and black, and then whatever. Now it doesn't really matter because these are all the same, so you just have to pick which one is going to be which. And you know, easy things need to be easy, so I'm going to pick red and black as red and black, and then green is going to be ground, and white is going to be this number 3. So red is 1, black is 2, green is 3, or white is 3, and green is ground. So that's what I'm going to do. And then where'd this cover go? Put this cover back on. So I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second when I get this all set up. Alright, so I managed to get this is really thick rubber, strip back. And then I'll strip these and connect them here. And hopefully that'll be it, and then I'll screw this thing back down. So that's the next step. Alright, and I ended up having to take this thing out. There are 2 more screws to go with it here, because I can't get this wire bent down in there and strip these and get it all set up. So we'll see if I can get this set up. Well, let me show you the pain in the butt this is. So these little screws, they're not, you see that copper sticking out there? So they're not like an outlet screw where they have the little ledge there. Maybe they are. Where's my needle nose? To catch all the wires. So this is the screw. So I don't know if you're supposed to wrap it around there or what, but you know, that's just making easy things hard, having a screw like that, because if you have that wire sticking out there, that can come loose, and then you got that free wire, and that free wire, and then they end up touching, and it just stupid things like that. Add 20 minutes to a job because they couldn't use a stinking screw that's right. All right, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to try to wrap these around or just leave it. I'll probably just leave it. What a pain in the butt. All right, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm splitting these wires like this and then putting them in there like that. So there's 3 on each side, and you know, these are the things where when you're designing these things and you know that you've got this gauge of wire, just make it so the screw fits. I mean, that's silly stuff that shouldn't happen. All right, so I'll attach the rest of these and then we'll move on. All right, there it is. Oh my gosh. So, in case anybody from Blue Ridge is actually paying attention here, this needs to go on the back, not on the front. I shouldn't have to snake a wire up to the front to connect this. You guys have this apart. All these wires can go to the back, easy connection, and instead of these goofy ass little screws that don't make any sense on your terminal, use the same connection that a breaker box does. I mean, you just put the wire in and clamp it down. This is super simple, and it cost me, 20 minutes of dicking around. All right, I'm done complaining about that. So now I got to try to get this piece back in and find a spot for this wire to be braced down, but because the angle that had to come up, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to work that around those little gray wires. See how it had to come up over top of those, and now it's got to be bolted down on top of them. So again, moving this to the back is the solution, super engineer guys. All right, let's see if I can get this done. Okay, and I was able to get it to secure into that middle one. So now this is the cover that goes on there, and you just gotta finagle that thing back in there. There we go, and this was the screw for that cover. So I'll just put that cover on, and then we'll go back to the back. All right, and so that's there, and then this cover goes on like this with just a screw, and when you take this off, you'll have to use pliers. You can't grip that to get that out. So that's that cover. We flip it back and forth. Now, it's worth mentioning here, I'm working on the ground. I don't have a work surface, and I would strongly recommend a padded work surface because you have to flip this stupid thing around like 14 times back and forth to get this set up. So I got to flip this over to get to the back here. Okay, here's what the back looks like, by the way. These tubes are bent over here when you get it. And so you're supposed to make a hole here and go outside. I'm not doing that because of where it's going. It's going right over my garage door. So I'm going to have these tubes run alongside and vent out a little farther down. So all this stuff is coming out. There's a breakout on the right side here. This can go back on. This is supposed to have conduit on it. I don't have the conduit. So this is about where we're going to end for the day. But this piece goes like this. So I'm going to have to snap this breakout out. And then this cover will go in. And by the way, when I said those wires should connect it back, right behind here, this little piece comes out. They should go right back there. Because it's up above where the water comes out. It's not a problem, and not a problem to get at. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? So that's where those connections should be, but they're not. All right. Now, the back of this thing, these tabs right here, this tab and that tab are what hold this thing up, I think. And then these little things here snap in the bottom. So when you look up there, and zoom in, there's tabs on the top that go in those tabs, and then they snap in on those little things on the bottom, whatever you call those. So, because I don't have conduit, I'm kind of screwed. And I am not going to try. This is another thing they say you're supposed to have conduit. Well, you can't get a 90-degree elbow in here because you'll pinch your your water line, right? That's not going to happen. So the best I can do is run conduit up to here and call it good, and just make sure that that's there. So I'll run conduit there, but I'm not going to try to get a 90-degree in there. So a little bit of better design would have been nice, but on this stuff, but that's okay. So that's it for today. Next I'm going to just hang this up, and maybe I will hang it up because the only thing I have left to do is put the conduit. So I'll hang it up and then we'll get a final look at what it looks like on the wall. All right, and there it is in place. I want to show you something up there. That was actually surprisingly not terrible, so pretty pleased. The duct and the electrical go at an angle on purpose there. So let me show you the top here. All right, and up on top here, you can see right there, where did my finger go? Right there is the tab from the mounting plate going into the correct spot. Same thing on this side. You have to make sure that those tabs from the mounting plate are in the right spot. So that's it. And I forgot to put that little part on. I'm not taking that off to put that little part on. That doesn't matter. So that's where we're leaving it. End of part one. Next we'll loosely connect some things, get some conduit, and run through the wall.